Okay, cool. So this video is about the Dawesome Myth plugin. Um, Now it's been a few days and I've been using it, and I have to say that I love this plugin um, and enjoy working within it. Um, that's what I wanted to not only say that, but show you how how I use it and why I think it's so easy, even if you aren't a sound designer, to use this plugin. So if you look here, this is the initialize preset right here. So you just click it, this is what you get, right? And there's all kinds of features. These features here kind of distort it a little bit more, give it some texture, character, grit, etc. Of course, you have the oscillators, the ARP, the filters, the effects, the mods, those all of which can be receive LFOs, all kinds of MIDI stuff. In fact, you can take your mod wheel and have it control certain parts. You have pitch bends, etc., etc. It's all there. And then even over here, you see the expression stuff and the macros that you can use. What I like about this, oh, and I love this, the text right here where you can punch in little notes about your preset that you make. So what I love about this is it's all on one page. So it's not a lot of page jumping. In fact, there really isn't any. In fact, when you're moving through the oscillators, you're just clicking these little tabs. And then you can freeze sections so that you don't have to worry about it changing at all. Like if you know that's how you want it to sound, then you lock it in, right? So it's really cool. You can save the preset. This little button here, if you click it, takes you through different presets up here. Now what I found here, and I don't know if this is an error or a user error or if it's a glitch, usually when you click this, it's changing the preset, but for some reason I'm not seeing the presets right here. I'm just seeing the name change, and you'll see it as my name right there. So that's a little confusing because it's just changing the preset name, and I don't really get that. But I'm gonna go back to this initial one. Okay. Yes, in the previous video I said I wondered if you could bring in sounds, and the answer is yes. You can bring in 2 sounds, right? One for each iris, and drop it in. And it could be literally anything. Like I just picked one. I'll pick one right now for you to show you. Let's use this one. And it will resynthesize that. Then you can move this around. And you can either modulate this or whatever you want to do. And find areas in this that you like. And you don't have to touch this wheel, you could do it here. If you like a certain area, you can lock in that setting right there. And then adjust the distortion. Now, another thing about their plugins that Dawsome does a great job on, in my opinion, is if you look down here where the question mark is, if you leave it on, everything you touch now tells you what it does. So these are the transformers that, right, do different things. So each one's a transformer in its own way. Can make it more like a brass instrument, square. More dirt. This one here to me smooths it out a little more. Like they all have their little features, and this can move stuff and make changes to the harmonic ratio. Okay, so if you get the demo, by the way, they give you 90 days, which is extremely good, which is like what Ableton does, right? Really cool. So let's say, yeah, but you don't want to do all this, and I get that. Oh, and by the way, the dice down here is your starting point for randomizing the perimeters. So all the perimeters can be, if you click on this, will be randomized. And if you hold it, it will continue to cycle through randomization of it. Keep holding it. You can see every time I click it, it's changing. You can blend the irises how much you want it to be. You can fade them. And then you could have two sounds. So you could put the same sound, or you could take another sound, something similar but different. Then keep randomizing those two. Hold it down. Anything that you have on freeze, it will not randomize. So if you wanted to do randomization on everything, you would just take all this off and just. But what I noticed it doesn't do is you have to put in some type of oscillator effects or whatever you're going to do. You need to throw that in. If you don't, then it's obviously not going to do anything on that portion because there's nothing there for it to change. So you'll need to put in an orbit or whatever you're going to put in. Let's say on oscillator 2, you want to put in, I don't even know what this is, RM. Oh, it's a ring modulator. I guess I do know what it is. F shift, what is that? Then if you hit freeze, I believe, yeah, it starts to randomize those things, see? As long as you don't have it on freeze. Then you could throw in a filter, and you could put whatever you want. They let you use any of these in any of these, literally, if that makes sense. When I say these, I mean whether you're in the oscillator or the filters or the effects, you can use any of these in any of these ones that my mouse are clicking on, the filters. You can use any of the filters, distortions, others, modulation effects in those. Let me make sure I clarify that and say it the right way. Then you click the random button over here and you can start randomizing. Or you can go in and manually tweak it if you feel like you want to do that. So, and you can see I'm terrible at this because I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just putting in random stuff and I don't really fully understand everything about it. But I'm about to show you now is a different way to approach this that might make it even more interesting. Because you might do this and be like, this is terrible. Like, it just doesn't sound good. And you would be right because I'm terrible at doing this. But there's this button right here that I didn't really fully understand what it was. It looks like something coming out of an eggshell, like a little chicken or something coming out. I can't really tell what that is. But anyway, it says, it's funny because it says breeds a new preset based on the presets in the current selection. Does not change the frozen section. So as long as it's not frozen, you know, it does. I'm going to put another filter in. Let's use let's use this chorus filter, whatever. All right. So this button changes everything and makes it a new preset. Let's just click it. Let's do it again. So you can have some weird pads. You can make some. Now, what I noticed is the only issue I had was, well, it doesn't do anything up here. Doesn't put any LFOs on there at all. So if you don't. Now you see I just added an LFO in there. I'm going to change it a little bit. I understood how to do it. I add an LFO, I click on it, click on the spot I want it to modulate, right? And then you can see it's modulating. You can adjust how much of that, where it's going. So it's moving. It moves even more when I play it. Okay. So I get that. If you want to remove it, just click the X. It's all right here. You don't have to leave the page. You're looking directly at it. So here, this button made it more interesting, right? Because now I was like, ooh, I like to be able to get a new preset. I'm going to just click it, and there you go. It's new preset stuff going on. And it actually adds in stuff, as you can see here. I didn't add this manually. It added it in for me. But it's still using the same sounds that I have in there, I believe. I said I believe on that because it could be using other sounds that I don't know of, but based on what I see, actually I take that back. It could be using other sounds because I didn't freeze this section here or the sound. So let's do this. Let's just try this. Let's put in one together. Let's put in this one. All right. I'm going to find a section I like in this thing. I'm going to freeze the iris on both of these. Now I'm going to hit the preset button. Yeah. So if you don't click this freeze button, when you do this, it's literally going to random all this stuff. Everything gets randomized. But if you want to keep the sound in there, then you need to put a freeze on the sound to freeze it. That's pretty cool. It even threw an LFO in there because I didn't make this LFOs up. So it is doing other stuff more than what I thought originally. So for a person that don't know what in the world they're doing, this plugin is phenomenal. It will take you from, you just saw what I had, which was kind of like, what in the world is he doing, to what you see here, which sounds actually useful. Could be a drone, kind of drone with some movement going on maybe. Really kind of sounds interesting to me, in my opinion. Okay, let's go a step further. So now you've seen starting from nothing, you've seen adding some sounds, kind of doing some tweaking on your own, you've seen using the random button to just randomize the perimeter of stuff, and then you see me use this one where it's creating a new preset and the ability to lock in certain sounds. We're going to keep those same sounds locked in, but we're going to switch presets and we'll throw a different sound in. So let's just pick some random preset. I'm not even going to try to figure out what it is. I'm just going to go and pick it off of the name. I know I'm going to end up picking something wild, but it's okay. All right, there it is. Now I locked in the preset, but I don't believe that's the same sound. I'm pretty confident that's not the same sound. So when you jump to a new preset, it's probably going to use those sounds that you have. So let's go back in and put what we put in and resynthesize those. Now we know we got the right sound, right? At least we have the sounds that we initially put in. So you see how I took somebody else's preset, I'm using their settings, and I'm just putting in my sounds. That's another way to create your own sounds, just using someone else's setup here where it's all their LFOs and their ADSRs and filters and free oscillator stuff, and do it. Then you could just lock in your stuff here and just hit the random key down here. Hold it down if you want to use it. Ooh, Lord. Until you find something you like. Or you can still keep your stuff locked in and do the same thing with this and create a new preset. So every time you click it, you'll see stuff starts changing all over. So what is this doing? Really, in my mind, it's giving me a starting point to build a sound. I don't know much about building sounds, but you see how quickly it can assist you and be of help to you. And now if I don't like that sound, just click it again. And I'll be honest with you, it's rare that I don't find something I can use. Like, that is incredible. First of all, there's 700 presets, by the way, just in case you're wondering. who's to say they won't add more or offer more for sale down the road? But this thing here, I feel like it's endless. Like, even not fully understanding everything, you could get in here and literally make a nice sound and come up with. It has a limiter, by the way, on here. I noticed that yesterday. I figured that out. And here's your output if the sound is too loud, and a panic button if it gets really out of hand. But you can set the limiter on, and then it'll keep your sound from being, or if you don't want it on, you can turn it off. So this is like your dBs, how many, and then there's your limiter. So everything, again, it's pretty simple. And then this is the ability to freeze right here. I mean, it's incredible. There's a browser here if you want to look for sounds by maybe the way it's type it is, the tone or the mood. You can change these too, by the way, to like mood if you want, or character, and then just click back off and it goes away. But this one has an ARP on it. If you don't want the ARP on it, just turn the ARP off. Just by changing a little bit can give you a whole new sound. That's the incredible part about this too. It reminds me of Pigments in a lot of ways. If you like Pigments, I think you'll like this. To me, they're my two favorite synth plugins, period. Hands down. I've tried everything. I even like Novum. Don't get me wrong, Novum's more granular, and Pigments has granular in it. This one doesn't really have, as far as I know, doesn't have granular in it. But I think there may be, if I'm not mistaken, let me go to a filter. There may be a granular filter. I know there's a saturation. This Atari I haven't even touched yet. Yeah, I don't think there's a granular in it that I know of. If I find one, I'll let you know. But but there's other ways to do granular or grain type stuff. In fact, I think in the effects section, they do have clouds, shimmer. I thought they had something in here for the granular, like, oh yeah, they do. It's called grains. So it's like more of a delay, but it's kind of granular in its own way. In fact, that plugin, I think they said was very similar to Love, which is the plugin they make that you can really get some ambient stuff. I've talked about that in previous videos, so just take a look at those videos if you want to see Love. Love is an incredible plugin. At one point, you could get Love for free too on pluginboutique.com. It was pretty cool. I didn't get it for free. I ended up paying for it, but I really think that plugin is super worthy if you want to get those ambient lush sounds from just about any sound you have. It's a effects plugin. Anyway, but if you don't want to get that, if you get this, you'll be quite content, I think, with regards to synthesizers. Now, again, I want to clarify, this is coming from someone who does not sound design. And when I talk about sound design, I'm not talking about I just change the sound. I can do that. But I'm talking about like a person who really gets in here, knows exactly what they're doing, wants to do this, and they say, this is how I do it, and they do it, right? That's, to me, more of a sound designer. I'm just a guy who just listens to the sound, and if I like it, I work with it, right? So if you're that type of person, this is the best synth. This and Pigments are the best synths for that type of person who's not heavy into sound design, but wants to come up with their own synth stuff, right? Wants to be able to tweak stuff, but not spend too much time doing it and still get a lot done. To me, that's what Myth does. So anyway, on conclusion, make your decision. It's on sale right now. I want to say it's like $54 off right now. If you aren't interested right now, but you want to try it out, get the 90-day right here demo that you can do, and then try it on the 90-day demo. And then in November, I can't speak on this for a fact because I don't know. I don't work for Dawsome, but I imagine they do sales all the time, that they'll do some type of sale, and maybe it'll be on sale again if you're ready at that time, right around Black Friday or something. But just get your feet wet, try it out, see if you like it. I think you'll really enjoy this plugin as I definitely know I am. Okay, there is an undo and redo. That's rare to see, but it's kind of cool that you can undo. If you had a previous sound, you're like, oh man, I like that one better, just click the undo button and go back, right? So that's kind of a cool feature too. We could go on and on. I'm going to end this video. Just wanted to kind of reintroduce my thoughts on why I think Myth is a great plugin. One of the best ones, I feel like, personally, that has been put out by Dawsome. And I love their other stuff too. But in my opinion, this is the best one. All right, that's the end of this video. Hit me up in the comments if you got questions, thoughts, or anything. All right,